if I continue reading, then around 10 I'll be done. Why am I doing this? That Barbara? Don't like her. Hi, today I'm gonna do a bit of a challenge. I'm gonna try to read a book in a day. And it's not gonna be like a graphic novel or a really short book. This is the book I will be reading, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's 332 pages, if I remember correctly. And I'm gonna try to finish it in one day. Now, usually this will take me 2 weeks. So I don't know why I think I'm going to be able to do this, but I do have the day off, so I don't have anything else I need to do. I am a bit of a slow reader, but I really want to try to commit to it and see if I can do it. The reason for that is also that this is my book club book and we still have a week left. So I don't have that much time, and I feel like maybe if I make it into a challenge, I will be able to finish it. The book that I'm currently reading is The Martian by Andy Weir, and that's also a book that's related to space. So I hope I'm not going to confuse the two, because I figured I could also finish that one first. But yesterday, instead of reading, I was crocheting these skull granny squares, because I wanted to try out something new. But yeah, that means I did not finish the other book, so hopefully I don't confuse the two. And one thing I really like about this book, it's kind of floppy. I don't know, I always like a floppy book. That's just something I like. I think it's a sapphic romance as well, but I'm not sure, but that's what I heard somebody say. So I will give spoilers, but I'll do that at the end. So first I'll just talk about the book in general, and then at the end I'll give you some spoilers. Let's get into it. I should maybe say, by the way, right now it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so let's see by what time I can finish. I decided to put on a timer of 2 hours, so I read for 2 hours and not that far into it. I'm at page 64 from the 332 pages. So if my calculation is correct, I would still need to read for 8 hours. I think the reason I'm not reading 40 or 50 pages, but 30 pages an hour is because it's a bit more difficult, because obviously it's about stuff happening at NASA. So NASA, how do you say that? But it's basically just words I don't know, so it takes me a bit longer to read it. I am liking the book so far. There are two female main characters. You have Vanessa and Joan. Joan has a sister called Barbara, and Barbara is kind of, I think, a teenage mom, and her daughter is called Frances. But Joan is actually the one taking care of Frances, and that's what she's spending most of her free time doing. So now that she got this new job offer and is going to be an astronaut, she doesn't live with her sister anymore and is spending less time taking care of Frances. But you can just see, like, oh, Barbara, Joan's sister, maybe I don't. Well, it's kind of harsh to say she shouldn't have been a mom, but honestly, she keeps on talking about, oh, I wish I was free like you. I wish if I didn't have a child, I could follow my dreams and I could be who I want to be and whatever. And it's like, okay, but you chose to have a child, you know? But I think Joan is a very good aunt and is really teaching Frances, and Frances is kind of cute because she's now like, I also want to become an astronaut. So I don't know, it's very adorable. I don't know that much about Vanessa yet. She seems cool, and obviously because they're at a kind of male-dominated workplace, some of the men are nice, but most of them are not, and they're kind of like, making jokes at the expense of women. And I just hope they're gonna stand up for themselves a bit more, or the men are gonna get fired. I don't know, but it's just a bit sad to see how that's developing, but I hope it's gonna be a bit better later on. The first chapter is kind of in the future, and that's when the disaster happened. which means there will be only one woman left in the spaceship. I think Vanessa is in the spaceship and Joan is communicating from Earth. And then the second chapter and a few other chapters go back in time when Joan and Vanessa were deciding to become astronauts and applying for the job and going through the training and stuff like that. I am really liking it. I think the writing is very good as well. And I'm interested to see what happens next. I am now 4 hours and 15 minutes into this book. I am at page 140, so I feel like it's going decently. The time right now is 2:15, so I do think it's possible to finish today, but I will probably still be reading after dinner. Right now, there's like a little bit more depth to the side characters, so I really enjoyed that because I used to think like, oh, that person's stupid, that person seems nice, but now there's a bit more of a backstory to it, so that's something I can appreciate. And one thing that is, it's not really annoying me, but it feels a little bit unrealistic, but I don't know if it is, but one of the characters is kind of discovering that she might have feelings for women instead of men, but the way she's discovering it, I don't know, it feels kind of like how a 16-year-old would discover those feelings and not a 32-year-old, or I have no idea how old she is actually. But it felt a little bit childish, but I don't want that to come across as mean or anything, because like maybe you don't know and you do figure out later in life. The way it's handled, it just feels a bit childish. But yeah, I'm sorry if that's rude. I don't at all mean that in a rude way, and it's totally like fine if you're 60 and then you discover like, hey, maybe I actually like women instead of men. That's totally fine. It's just the way it's handled in this book. I feel like it's a bit. I'll get into it in the spoiler part a little bit more. But other than that, I do think the book is really good. I'm really liking it. I am rooting for Jonah and Vanessa to get together. I mean, I'm assuming that that's where this book is going to go. I don't know. This isn't a spoiler or anything. This is just what I'm assuming. But yeah, I hope that's going to happen because they seem cute together. Okay, it is almost 5 o'clock and I've read for 6 hours. I am at page 194. So I'm over halfway. I'm not excited to continue. Well, I like the book. I really do. It's just that I don't want to read anymore. But I will, because I'm going to try and I'm going to see if I can actually do this. But I don't want to. I just want to crochet and watch Netflix, or I do something else. But I do think this is a good book to read in one go, because after like 30 pages, not that much happens. But yeah, I'm liking the book and there is stuff going on, but a lot of it is also like, oh, emotions or things that happened in the past, or I don't know, it's just not super exciting, I guess. But because I'm reading it in one go, I do really like it and I'm really enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star, but I think it's going to be a 4-star. I really like female main characters. I think the storyline is nice so far. I wonder what's going to happen, if shit's going to hit the fan or if it's going to get fixed. I don't know. I'm liking it so far. I'm just I'm not liking this challenge anymore. I just want to stop reading. So yeah, the timing might not really add up, but I took like a quick little nap. So yeah. Anyway, I'll try to continue now and we'll see if I can actually finish it, because it's already 5 o'clock. So yeah, we'll see. I have now read for 8 hours. I am at page 266, so I still have 66 pages left. and I think it's 8 o'clock. Yes, it is 8 o'clock right now. If I continue reading, then around 10 I'll be done. Why am I doing this? Yeah, no. Here's the thing, when I'm reading the book, I am really enjoying it. But as soon as I put the book down, I'm like, okay, that was fun, and I'm done. It's good. I want to do something else. But then it's like, yeah, I don't want to be reading at night, and I really want to finish this book today. So then I pick it up again, and I'm not excited about picking it up again, but not because of the book, but just because I don't want to read the whole day. It's insane. I always thought I would, because right now I have a day off, so I was always like, oh, when I have a day off, I'd love to just read the whole day. The whole day? That's a lot. That's a lot of reading. Yeah, but I mean, come on, I'm so, I'm gonna finish it, because I'm gonna get to this challenge, or I'm winning, whatever. Are you noticing that I'm tired? I'm gonna have to edit so much out because I can't say words. I am noticing with this book that it's very much basically a love story. It's a romance book, which I didn't initially expect. I think in the first chapter they were talking about space and using a type of language that I don't know, but that was the first maybe 2 chapters, and then it just turned into a romance, and they didn't really talk that much about the space stuff. So if you don't like the first chapter, I would say continue a little bit, because it does change. It's not that much about, I mean, yes, that's their job and that's what it's about, but um there's also other stuff happening, like with the sister and the kid, and also with the romance. So yeah, it's more of a romance book than I expected. I'm looking at the back, but I didn't read the back. I've only heard other people talk about it, so don't really know if I could have known. It does say atmosphere, a love story, so I could have known. I am still liking the book, so I'm just going to finish it, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the book. Okay, so I finished. It took me 9 hours and 45 minutes. It is now 10 o'clock. And as you can maybe see, I cried. um, I think this is a very good book, and the ending was very emotional. I do think I would have liked a few more chapters about space and about what was happening in the current time, kind of, because a lot of it was in the past timeline. And I did enjoy that, and that did definitely add to the story. I just felt like there could have been 1 or 2 more chapters about the current time. This was a really good book. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars, because it, or 5. No, I think yeah, star rating. I don't know. I think 4 stars, but I would definitely recommend this book. Like I said before, I'm currently reading The Martian, and that one has way more like difficult words in it, and this one, it's a love story, and that's what it's mainly about. I'm a bit emotional, and honestly, I think this whole challenge of reading a book in a day, that's not a challenge that a slow reader is meant to do, because it took me like nearly 10 hours. It sounds nice, but I am so tired and drained of reading. I don't know. Um, I do think if I read this book not in one go, but in several days, then I would have liked it a bit less, because it's not, some of the chapters in between weren't like super interesting and not a lot happened. I don't know, but I really liked it. I thought it was a very good book, and I do think it is a book that's good to read in a day. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I would advise just to read books on your own timeline, and I don't think I'm gonna do this challenge again, or at least not with a book that's over 300 pages, because that's too much. If you want to hear some of the spoilers and I guess want to know why I cried, then you can watch the rest of this video, because then I'll get into the spoilers. And if you don't want to know, then this will be the end of the video, and I want to thank you for watching. And in the comments you can leave the little astronaut emoji. Is that a thing? If it is, you can leave that in the comments. Or thank you for watching, and if you want to see the spoilers, stick around. Okay, I'm gonna get into the first spoilers, and right now I am at page 140. Barbara is not a good mom, I think. Like, I'm sorry, leaving your child out, your 7-year-old child, you leave that girl outside of your house, locked out, not even being sure if she's gonna be, like, picked up. I mean, yes, her sister is trustworthy, so she kind of knew that Joan was gonna pick her up, but that girl was outside for half an hour. She's 7. Like, you don't know what could have happened. I don't know. That just seems very irresponsible. Like, just leave her in the house. If you really have to leave, I think that could also be considered irresponsible, but then at least she's in the house. You know, that's kind of a bit better. I thought that was weird. And then the whole thing with Joan kind of discovering that she might be a lesbian, I think that is great. But the way it's done, that she kind of goes to this strip club and then she's like, "Oh, naked women, woo!" And I, I mean, I get it, but also, shouldn't it also be an emotional connection? Is it only physical, or I don't know? It just felt a bit random, I guess. Also, yeah, it did feel really random that they just like they go out to a club and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, don't be a party pooper, you need to come with us to the strip club." Like, no, she don't. I don't know. It was a little bit weird, but I do really like that she is lesbian, and I think, I like Vanessa a lot, and I think they're gonna be really cute together. Let's continue reading, and I'll check in later. Okay, I've gotten quite a bit further into it, and I think Vanessa and Joan are so cute together. I really like Vanessa. I have a little bit of a crush on her. Yeah, she seems great. And I think the book is really nice, and I think it's good that, like, in the start, I was kind of annoyed with Lydia, I think she's called, because she's just going along with the guys making sexist jokes. But then later on, she explains why she's doing that, and it's like not a lot of women, or there weren't any women allowed in NASA. NASA? How do you? Why do I say it correctly in my head, but then I can't say it out loud? NASA, right? Um, but not a lot of women were allowed there, and it was mostly just like white men. So the fact that there are a few women now, that's such a change that they want to, that, well, Lydia wants to be like, "Oh, I want to be like the men so that they accept me and that we can, keep this going and have more women come in." But then Joan is more like, "I can show my emotions and they should not make fun of women, and we should rebel." No, but she's like, "We should not allow them to talk to us like that." And then Lydia is more like, "We should go with the flow and not make a mess, don't make a scene." So I get both of those point of views, but I do think it's very good that further into the book they kind of got to explain both their sides, and that they took some time in the book to do that. So I thought that was very good, and I'm liking it so far. I just kind of I don't know if I wanted to pick up the pace or something, but a lot of the chapters are about 2 years ago, 4 years ago, stuff like that. And I want it to be about the accident and how it's going to get fixed. I'm liking it, but not loving it. I'm almost done. Barbara, sister of Joanne, she is going to send her kid to boarding school because she doesn't say, "Yes, ma'am, thank you, sir." Because Barbara is now married to Daniel, and they want her to be a proper little girl, but she's not, so they're sending her off to boarding school. And but she's actually excited to go there, so I guess that's nice, and hopefully it's gonna be better. I mean, because honestly, this Barbara, she really shouldn't have had a kid, because she's just going out to dinner, having fun, and leaving the kid home alone all the time. It's like, and that kid doesn't want to be there anymore and really wants to be with Joan, but Joan has a job. Joan. I read it as Joan. I think it's Joanne, but no, I don't like that sister. I do really like Vanessa. I think that she's so much fun. She's cool, and it's just very sad that it's not allowed for gay people to get married, and that like they need to hide that they're in love. And I feel like if you love somebody of the opposite sex, of the no, that's the same. If you love somebody of the same sex, like why is that a problem? Why? And yeah, that's just sad that they need to hide and they can't have a marriage and be together in that way. The way they spoke about that, like, oh, I wish I could give you that and I could live with you the way these straight couples are living together. And I don't know, it was a very cute scene in the book. Yeah, let's just continue and read the last, I think, 2 or 3 chapters of this book. Okay, I just finished the book and I might have been able to put in a clip of me crying. Oh, this was very emotional. Okay, first off, the Barbara, her sister Barbara, she sent her own daughter to the boarding school and she was gonna take her to come home for Christmas or for Thanksgiving. But then Daniel was like, I don't like her, so let's go on a trip to Europe. And they just left her at the boarding school. And they told Joanne, that her friends were going to be there, but her friends weren't there. So she was like lonely in the boarding school. And then Joanne just got back from her trip to space. And the first thing she did was get in her car to go get Francis. And she had a whole fight with Barbara prior to that. And Barbara basically said, "Oh, if you think you can take such good care of her, take her." So she just gave her away her own child, and that Barbara, mm, don't like her. I think this is a good outcome because now Frances gets to live in a house with somebody that actually loves her and wants to take care of her, so that's very nice. And that was kind of emotional already. And then at NASA, they found out that Joanne and Vanessa were in a relationship, and well, that's not allowed. So Joanne wanted to break up with Vanessa so that they could both keep their jobs. But then they were crying and emotional, and they were like, I'd rather lose my job and still be able to be with you. And oh, it was just a lot of emotions. And then the first chapter where you notice like that Vanessa is the only person conscious on the spacecraft, and Joanne is the one in Earth on Earth that has to talk to her, or gets to. And it's very emotional because like the things aren't working, she cannot fix the things. Lydia is also on the plane and the other people died, but Lydia is still, she's unconscious and there is a chance of survival, but her chance of survival would mean that Vanessa's chance would be lower because she'd have to not close a certain door and do bolts and I don't know, mechanical stuff. But Vanessa made her own decision and she was like, I'd rather have a chance of Lydia also surviving and then have my own chance of survival be smaller, but be able to maybe save her. And that was very emotional because they were communicating. They couldn't really communicate with each other because they couldn't tell each other that they loved each other and that they were going to miss each other or what they thought of each other's decision or whatever, because people were listening and you're not allowed to be gay. And yeah, it was just very emotional. And oh, just the way they tried to portray to each other that they understood each other and they loved each other. It was just, oh, it was so emotional. And then they lost contact, and I'm like, she dead. I figured it's a romance book. She ain't gonna die, it's fine. But then I flipped to the last page, and she's still no communication. She probably dead. Like, what? But then in the last few sentences, it's like, the communication comes back on and she's still alive. And like, I thought that was gonna happen, but I've never read anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so I didn't know. It was like, maybe it's a bad ending. Like, because she was like, oh, you know what? It's a blessing to have known her. I'm like, girl, what? Yeah, sure, that's a great outlook on life, but honestly, I don't know. But it was a good ending after all, so that's nice. Very emotional. Also, probably because I've been doing nothing else other than reading today. Well, I mean, I watched like one episode and I had a nap, but I've been mostly reading, and that also has made me quite tired. um, but yeah, those were, I think, all my thoughts. I might have more thoughts, but I forgot them. So yeah, I want to take a nap. No, well, or just go to bed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this book and on the experience of trying to read one book in a day as a slow reader, because that was quite something. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!